To preview the Cranbourne Cup runner by runner with Dean Evans, thanks to Winning Edge Investments. And Dean's been, as we keep on saying each and every week, he's been superb for our listeners here on RSN 927. Good afternoon to you, Dean.
Good afternoon, Gareth. How are you going?
Good, thank you, mate. Cranbourne Cup, great to see Cranbourne taking centre stage there in Victoria on a Saturday afternoon. Their cup's back to the 1,600 metres, and they've got a few last start Flemington Cup Carnival winners engaged in this year's event. I think overall they would be pretty happy with the quality of thoroughbreds turning up for their premier event.
Yeah, I think they would. I think it was a good move bringing it back to the mile. They have got a pretty strong and competitive field here, and I think there's going to be a fair bit of rain. It looks like we could be operating on a really heavy track, but that gives us an opportunity to try to isolate those wet trackers. All
right, then let's have a look at the runners for the Cranbourne Cup, runner by runner, for tomorrow's feature, worth $500,000. And it's run over the 1,600 metres. Buffalo River, 752.70. Will he get a strong 1,600 metres in your eye?
Yeah, look, I'm not concerned about the trip for him. He's won over it before. I think the key to this horse, as most people know, is he's just a superior wet tracker. 6 wins and 3 placements of 9 starts on the wet, and just prep when he hit the wet track, he won its only time. I think for me, the only real concern with this horse is just the speed. My database, based on their early speed ratings, has this as a very fast tempo, and probably horses Buffalo River, No Effort, In the Twinkling, Imperial Ad, and Holbein all pushing for the lead. So I think the hardest thing is just going to be whether there's going to be too much speed early for this horse, but he's certainly a duck and he's a big chance.
All right, then Sosi Bon is at $19. A wonderful stat from Gary Fennessy when I was listening to him on racing.com there. I think he was being interviewed by Andrew Eddy there the other day. He said since his 2-year-old days, Sosi Bon, he's been placed in a stakes race at each each Melbourne Spring Carnival. And this is probably nearly his last chance to do that this time around in the Cranbourne Cup. Can he do it, Dean?
Look, I certainly think he can run a place. He's been going solidly, like he always does. He's a pretty sort of consistent type in that regard, and this is about his level. I just think a bog track with the big weight and sort of being on a strong tempo, I don't see him as a winning chance, but I think he can be thereabouts.
All right, then let's have a look at the next horse for Cranbourne Cup Day there tomorrow. We just had a chat about Sosi Bon, and the third horse there is Age of Chivalry, that was on speed, second up at Flemington and too good. Can he do it again?
Yeah, it was a good win, and the Alderton stable sort of said that that race and this race were the 2 targets. So I think for me, I've got a query on this horse over a mile, and particularly on a really heavy track. So I'm going to be betting around him.
All right, then. So we'll take on Age of Chivalry. Aromeo's a scratching. Luna Fox, the 5, fourth up this preparation, the Group 1 winner of the autumn for Paul Pruska and Brett Preble.
Yeah, look, I can't discount this horse. He's an Australian Guineas Group 1 winner. He was only beaten 3 lengths in the 2-rack. And I think most interestingly, in that All-Star Mile, it was an absolute bog track, won by Muggertoo and Russian Camelot. Second, he ran 4th in that race. So on a really bog-heavy track, there's no concern with this horse. And I think he's one of the best roughies at sort of 20-1. All
right, then. So that's a good push for Luna Fox there. We'll move on to Just a Canter, who had a really good Flemington campaign. He won on Derby Day, then was placed on the final days at $15 in the Cranbourne Cup.
Yeah, I couldn't talk you out of him if you liked him. He sort of matched midfield, which will suit. He handles wet going. He sort of just keeps going. Patrick Payne keeps sort of backing him up. He backed up 7 days last week, and he's back here again. I think he's going to run another solid race again, and has some chance.
Then we move on to an interesting runner here for Lindsay Smith. Now, in a twinkling, my mail is he's been trialling the house down. For Lindsay Smith, he's been backed into 50-1. I think he opened up at close to 100-1. Your thoughts on his chances?
He's got Group 1 form in New Zealand. He's a handy type. I think this is a tough race. First up a 250-day break on a bog track, and he doesn't have sort of a lot of bog-heavy track form. So, I'm going to watch him go around, but hopefully he can run a good race first up.
What about No Effort, the local for Gavin Bedgegood and Bo Mertens at $16?
Yeah, look, he's had a good prep. He won the Heavily, and we were on him that day. He does handle the wet track. In fact, he's had 2 runs on a heavy track and won them both. I'm concerned just about it's another runner on a really, really hot speed. Maybe he's won some races on reasonably soft tempos, but this is going to be completely different. So I think that's going to make it harder for him.
King Magnus is at $7. Another local for Robbie Griffiths and Matty DeCock.
Yeah, and another consistent type. He's had a lot of runs. This prep. This is his 10th run of the prep. He does handle the wet track. He's not sort of going to be thereabouts. He's not one of mine for a winning chance.
Our Playboy's the favourite at $4 here after winning nicely there at Flemington during the carnival. Can he do it again at Cranbourne? Mick Price was pretty confident.
Yeah, look, he won for us last week when I took him to your listeners, and he got out to a nice price of $11. And the thing about him is he's even better on a wet track. You know, he won the Wingston. He's on the Sunshine Coast by 6 lengths on the wet track. He won the Vane Stakes as a 2-year-old on a wet track. So he's going to be even better, I think, here on the quick backup and on a heavy track. So I think he is the one to beat.
Riddle me that's at $23. Matty Laurie and Daniel Stackhouse.
He's another. I just don't see him as a out-and-out wet tracker. I just wonder if the heavy track's going to suit him as much as it might suit some others.
Don't Doubt Dory at $9.50.
Yeah, look, a consistent type. He's won 7 from 16. He sort of handles it heavy going. So, while I think it's a bit of a rise in class compared to some others in this event, he's not out without a hope.
Holbein's at $61.
I think he's going to struggle to run a mile on a really heavy track.
Acadia Prince at 150 to 1.
I think he just needs more racing.
Yeah, Imperial Lads in good form for the informed John Maloney camp at $17.
He's in good form. He's another, I think, he's been sort of suited by sort of a bias and the softer tempos in some of his previous runs. I just think a really strong tempo and a strong mile on a heavy track is going to find him out.
Mystery Shot at 11.
It doesn't seem to quite be going as well as he has previously, so I'm still waiting to see him improve his form.
And Barbie Fox is at $41, the 19 if it gains a start.
Yeah, I actually think she's one of the best roughies. She's an out-and-out wet tracker. Really, really improves on a heavy going. And I think, if there's one that can really surprise people, I think the fact that she ran second on the Sale Cup on a good track tells me she's going really well.
Got about 15 seconds. You tip in the race, mate?
Look at our Playboy to win. I think Buffalo River, the Danger, and Luna Fox and Barbie Fox, the best roughies. So
the Foxes may be causing an upset, but our Playboy, the one to beat. Good on you, mate. Thanks for that.
Thanks, mate.
Always great to catch up with Dean Evans from Winning Edge Investments. If you put in RSN in capital letters, when you head to their website, you get 50% off their tips throughout the afternoon. So it's a great deal.